Happy New Year, VC! Dave, the pickup artist, with you. Near the end of the year, you can already hear the fireworks happening in the background. And, of course, champagne corks popping. Tonight, we are listening to the Band of Gypsies from the Fillmore. This was recorded exactly 50 years ago. Jimi Hendrix, Buddy Miles, and Billy Cox. Great show. This was the one of the second or third CD releases, expanded CD releases. And there's also a new one. Big box set, apparently, of new stuff they actually found. I didn't know they could find any more Jimi Hendrix stuff than they've already found. But yeah, it's cool. And it's a great show, too. I thought what we'd do was look back at the year and also a reintroduction. I wanted to explain exactly what I do. Up here in, or down here in Jacksonville, Northeast Florida, we do ride sharing, and I pretty much do that full time. And I also use that to pursue some of my hobbies, one of which is collecting vinyl. When I drop a passenger off, a rider off, you don't want to drive around after that. You want to hang out because you don't want to waste gas. So in Northeast Florida, when I drop somebody off, usually within 3 miles, there is either a record store, a thrift store, a flea market, a garage sale, or a number of things where I can find vinyl. And that's what I do in between rides. I go into, we've got in Northeast Florida, we've got about at least a dozen record stores, and a lot of them are very good. It's a big vinyl community. It may be, one of the biggest vinyl communities in the country. Maybe not. But yeah, that's what I do. And I pick up stuff. I go for the, thrift stores are great. I rarely find stuff there, though. But this year was pretty good. I discovered a lot of new antique stores, one of which is actually about 5 miles away from here. Probably one of my first better pickups of the year was at this place. I found a couple Kinks albums, first edition Kinks albums there, and that was cool. And I also found this gem, the Fugs, first album. I'm not sure this actually was their first album. I think there was an album before this, or it may be the same album. I don't know, but I actually saw 2 of them. There were 2 of them there, and they were on sale. They had a red tag sale, and I got this for about $1.50. The Fugs, of course, were a band made up of 60s radicals. They were of dubious musical talent, but they were a lot of fun if you listen to it. It sounds like they had a lot of fun when they recorded this album. I believe it's 67 or 68. Kind of a garage rock type affair. But yeah, this is a cool pickup and a cool introduction to a new place that I could find records. And that was a cool pickup. And alas, in this year we've also had some hiccups. And one of the first ones I didn't discover until several months after I got it. Like everybody else, I order vinyl from Amazon occasionally. I was happy to, looking forward to picking up the new Steven Wilson remaster of Passion Play by Jethro Tull. Great cover. Inner sleeve is excellent. I love this album. It is actually a play. I think he tried to do a Pete Townsend answer to his opera with a play, maybe. But after about a couple weeks, I played it. It also comes with this great. It's a play program. I think I may have showed this album before, so I'm not gonna really get into it too much. But yeah, it's cool. And I got it from Amazon, so what could possibly be wrong with it? Well, I had it out the other day. I put the record on it. Well, actually, where the record's at. Well, anyway, I had the record out and inspected it, looked at it, and it has a warp in it, big warp. I could see it. Fortunately, it does not affect play, but you know, you don't expect warps when you're getting stuff from Amazon. So buyer beware. Just because you put it on your turntable and it plays okay, it may still be warped. But hopefully I'll be able to find that disc, wherever it is. Next, we had a couple of good record shows this year at the Ramada, centrally located, not far from the Beltway and San Jose Boulevard. And the recent one was really good. I found a lot of psychedelic pickups, including Elephant's Memory. Interesting band. I really got a kick out of this album, and I got it fairly cheap. I don't think I paid more than $5 for it. And the inner cover, I think I showed this after I got it, but it's pretty cool. It's on the Buddha label. Yeah. So yeah, I also found at the same venue, Road, another band I discovered. This is a 6-piece band, and they do a lot of psych covers. It's just a great little psych nowhere band that you sometimes find at record stores, or at record shows. So record shows are still in vogue. One suggestion you may want to do is record shows is get a room at the hotel, and every couple hours go down there, because what happens is the merchants, like every hour, reduce their prices on their merchandise. They don't want to have to drag the stuff home. So it's good to go early, but it's also you may want to check out record shows late sometimes. That's when you find low prices on good stuff. And this one is a low price I paid on well, it is what it is. I was happier than a pig in shit to find this UK pressing of Uriah Heep's first album. This has actually got a title, whereas the American pressing doesn't. This is very heavy, very humble. That was my British accent. And it's got this glossy photo, cool. It was just very cool. Inner sleeve. Yeah, I got it home. Didn't even look at this one. It had a warp in it. Tried to pop the warp. It had a bad warp. It was like a cigarette deal, and that's what happened. So yeah, but I paid $1 for it. So that was one of this year's top 5 hiccups. I won't say where I got these at, because usually I find most of the stuff I get at these record stores are pretty good shape, and they are pretty good about But the dollar, they are pretty good about returns, but the dollar stuff, you know, I don't even bother returning. You know, frisbees or whatever. I discovered a pretty good band, I think it was this year, a band called Sleep. This band actually put out their first album in almost 20 years. They put their last album was called Dope Smoker, and this year they did their follow-up decades later. It's called The Sciences. This is a very cool cover. It's a 2-album deal. I actually showed this inner sleeve on I think it was Psych Derek's contest he had for food. It's got a little inner sleeve there of the band. Very good band. They're a pretty much Black Sabbath influenced band. In fact, the first track on side 4 is titled Giza Butler. I think they're talking about Geezer Butler. And let's see the label. I think this is a Third Man. No, this is before they were, right before they were on Third Man. And this is the label. This is a great album. I really like it. It's probably my favorite of the few that they do have. Yeah, probably my favorite track is the Marinauts theme. They do a lot of tracks about herbal enlightenment. As you can see here, we've got an astronaut. He's not hooked up to a spaceship of any kind, but he is hooked up to a bud right there, which is cool. And I've got, I like that so much, they put out a 10-inch. And this is when they finally got on Third Man Records. The Third Man Records label. This is one song called Leagues Beneath, a very cool sludge, stoner rock, ballad type deal. It lasts about almost 20 minutes. Very cool. And what I like about it, it's only one-sided, but the back side is very cool etchings. If you can see that. I like that. And but they're on Third Man Records now, and looking forward to seeing what they put out in the future. This is a great band discovery of the year. And well, we got another hiccup. Picked up Boko Harem. I'm not going to say where. It was warped. Had a bad warp that did affect play. So I took it back. I paid $10 for it. It's a great album. It's probably one of their best, maybe their best album. And he said, well, I got this new gadget. I'll put it in this, looked like a, I don't know, a couple of weights and like a pizza bag that was, he says he keeps it at a temperature of about 100 degrees. So I said, okay. And he says, well, I'm gonna let it do its thing. So I went back in the next day, and I think this guy might have left it in there too long, because when we took it out and played it, he said, oh my God. And it sounded like, yeah, it played, he got the warp out, but I think he melted it. So sometimes you can leave records in these contraptions, and yeah, you'll get the warp out, but you also melt it, or God knows what else. So I got in-store credit, and that was cool. You know, they're pretty good about in-store credit and refunds. He would have gave me a refund too, so you know, no big deal. I'm eventually gonna get a good copy of this though. And let's see. Oh yeah, another great find was this band called The Maze. I got this through Amazon. Great psych. I don't know how I found out about this, but I read it was very cool, and it is. You got everything there. You've got the crazy organ, the slightly demented vocals, and the fuzz rock. And it's basically, the first track is called Armageddon, and they ask the question, where will you be on the day of Armageddon? I don't know. I'll be at Hooters, more than likely. But yeah, if you can find this, I got it real cheap on Amazon. It's on Beat Rocket label. Nice, I love it. I'm gonna play it later, I think. And let's see. The last real hiccup I had, I was in, this actually was the other day, about a week ago, I was in Goodwill. And this Goodwill is right next to Wilson Records, which is probably the biggest record store around. And this Goodwill usually has a lot of records, but unfortunately they're usually crap, you know, the stuff we always find at Goodwill. So I went in there the other day, and they had, you know how they have these carts, they're basically laundry carts filled with the new stuff that comes in. So I'm heading to the records section, and sure enough, they got one of these laundry carts filled with stacks of records. So I'm thinking, oh my God, you know, there's got to be some good stuff in here, man. Look at all this. This is brand new. So I start digging. We're talking about maybe 8 cartons of records, and I get about halfway through and I realize that these records are basically the same garbage records that you find, you know, the Helen Reddy, the Ray Conniff, you know, the Score. And so I started to get depressed. I said, oh my God. And then I started finding a couple things that were okay, a couple I may show in later videos. But then I stumbled on some Rolling Stones mono. And I'm like, whoa, Rolling Stones mono, Out of Our Heads. I checked the label. I'm not gonna, you know, make that mistake again. Of course, the London label. I'm like, wow. Crappy album cover. I mean, it's in crappy condition, but I picked it up and I found another one. December's Children. Cover's worn, but we're talking mono on that London label. What could go wrong? And third one. This is their first album, introducing the Rolling Stones, on that red London label. Wow, I'm thinking, wow, I've got maybe something here. And I've got Hot Rocks also. So I'm thinking, cool. So I head home. I'm going to go home and listen to some Rolling Stones in mono. I'm really excited. I get it home, and upon further inspection, I discovered that this Rolling Stones album that's Out of Our Heads is actually Let It Bleed from 5 years later. I looked at the label. Yeah, I saw it was London. I didn't even think to look at the title, though. Then we go back to the first album. I said, well, that's a bummer, but look at this. I've got the first Rolling Stones album. Yeah, the first Rolling Stones album cover with the second Rolling Stones album vinyl inside of it. Some numbskull put away his Rolling Stones albums in the wrong covers. Is what it came down to. And I, you know, just looked at the label, the London label, and December's Children is actually Big Hits and High Tides. Now, I kind of got this one right. Hot Rocks. 1964 to 71. Yeah. This has got the right album in it. Unfortunately, this is a 2-record set. It's only got 1 record in it. That's probably my hiccup of the year. That was a big disappointment. But the last one on my pickup list is always great to find Grateful Dead copies in good condition from first pressings at a good price too. I think I paid under $2 for this one. But yeah, we had a lot of fun this year looking for records and looking forward to it again next year, which is happening in a couple hours. So BC, have a happy new year, and I'll see you again when we come around the curve.